Tennessee Media Days. SEC Media Days was a couple of weeks ago. Tennessee Media Days. Very first thing that stood out. Josh Heupel's thoughts on the Arion Carter situation.
I'm glad he got it out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to be one of the very first questions asked. So him addressing it and giving his thoughts out there in his opening statements really helped in the fact that, like, I don't think really anybody asked about it after that. They got a very clear, obvious answer on how our coach felt about the situation. I loved how even other players, I mean, I seen just a few clips about other players just saying, I mean, look, we agree. It was BS. Like, we don't understand how a charge that didn't even tally to $500 on a charge that was paid back before it was even reported is somehow the NCAA is going to come down. And I mean, it's a terrible situation. Everybody knows it initially was a 3-game suspension. We actually appealed it to get it to 2 games, but it's just crazy that it serves as suspension to begin with. I mean, we're talking about the new age of college football, and we're really going to put our foot down, NCAA. We're really going to put our foot down on a $500 plane ticket? Less than? No. It's okay, though. Every single quarterback in Division I right now is on average making $1.5 million, but we're going to put our foot down on, it just doesn't make sense. And I think that's where the frustration comes in. You kind of seen it. Somebody did ask. They were like, hey, you kind of let us in on that, but like, it's clear that you're frustrated. Can you elaborate why you are? And I think Josh Heupel kind of said it clearly. He's like, man, it's just, you look at where the game's at right now. You look at the ongoing changes in the rules. I mean, right now we're talking about how we just denied Carlin Pickens another year of eligibility, but now we just got the 5 for 5, and all of a sudden the class of 22 player, whatever, they're now allowed to come back. Like, it's all so confusing for everybody involved. And I think just having a lack of structure, a lack of foundation for everybody right now in the realm of college sports, it's very frustrating because you don't know. It's almost like they're just making up rules as they go. And so it makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel the frustration from this coaching staff.
Yeah, and like he said as well, the rule is outdated now,
Yes.
Because you got players making all sorts of money, and, it's a $500 or less than $500 plane ticket that he paid back. And it's not like the day and age when you couldn't be paid when this was illegal.
That's right.
This is a day and time where players are making millions of dollars in college. They're getting vehicles from NIL deals. They're getting all these sorts of things. But all of a sudden now a plane ticket from a pro, I guess you could say in quotations, a pro agent of his.
It was pre-draft.
Like we said numerous times.
It was before the deadline. Yep. It was.
And like we said numerous times, he has paid this back.
Yep.
And he's being given the same type of suspension that Jim Harbaugh had whenever he won a national title after cheating his way to it, that Brendan Sorsby was going to have if he had played college football this season for gambling on football games.
They were going to give Arion Carter the same, if not worse, punishment for this $450 plane ticket than what they were going to do to Brendan Sorsby.
Yes.
And some of that's out of the NCAA's control because obviously NCAA's punishment was going to be a lot harsher, but obviously with the whole judge granting the whatever and yada yada and lawyer speak that I don't really 100% understand, but it's still amazingly like just obnoxious the fact that Brendan Sorsby was going to have basically served the same amount of game suspensions as now Arion Carter is going to face, and the level of discipline I feel like should have been just, I mean, I don't know, man. It's you're right. It's outdated. It's an outdated rule. I would hope that we got 4.5 weeks till kickoff and this can get somehow worked out. If not, oh well. It's not like, I mean, Arion, let's be honest. If we play Furman the way we should, my man Carter may only play like 9 plays, tops, in that first game.
Yeah, he's probably not going to play a whole lot. Probably first half maximum is what he would play.
I was thinking first quarter. Like, seriously. Like, I genuinely, with how many freaking linebackers we have, I don't see why there's a reason. You should be up 14-0 or 21-0 after the end of the first quarter against Furman. No disrespect. It's just the way you should take care of business. especially with a quarterback that wants to assert themselves as the starter and not even want to think about being pulled for any. You better go out there and show out immediately. So I don't think it, but Georgia Tech, it could be a concern, but as I've stated in several of my posts and TikTok and whatnot, and I've kind of gone back and forth with some Vol fans, but, they're like, no, we need him for Georgia Tech. I'm like, no, you don't, okay? Because if we need him that bad, for Georgia Tech, we're not going to have the season we all want to have. So I'm not totally worried about it. I do think if you look at the silver lining, it keeps him healthier longer, because I do know he's been battling some stuff. That was the whole reason why he didn't go pro, is he had a procedure done to take care of some things. And so maybe the time off is a good thing, keeps him healthy, and he's ready to rock and roll against Texas. Who knows? But either way, it's still a precedent. It's still setting the precedent, and I think the NCAA is totally wrong in this. I agree with the coaching staff 100% and the players.
Yeah, and it's bad whenever it's not just Tennessee fans saying this. You've got all sorts of fans. You've got media from different fan bases, from different organizations out there that are also, in Tennessee's favor for this. Like a guy that I like to watch because of his personality is Jermaine Funny Man Johnson. That is an Alabama fan, but some of his reactions, to the games, how Alabama fans watched, this past week's games, they're funny. I like to watch it. But when he came out on his TikTok account this week and he said, and I'm not quoting this verbatim, but he basically said, now, when I'm advocating for Tennessee, something is wrong. And he said, this Arion Carter BS that is going on with the NCAA right now is just that. It is BS. This should not be a thing. He should be allowed to play right off the bat. There should be no suspension. And basically, he ended up, I'm not advocating for Tennessee by any means, but this is ridiculous what the NCAA is doing. So when you've got guys like that that are hardcore for their fan base advocating for Tennessee, this is something that the NCAA needs to fix now.
Yep. No, I mean, I agree 100%. Like I said, it's a crazy situation. Hopefully, I hope it's not over, but it might be, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? I mean, put the pads on. Let's go play ball. It is what it is. Clearly, we know there's issues going on. I just can't wait to see how it all unfolds because, right now, there's still ongoing changes to the rules. The coaching staff, another thing they talked about, they're right now pursuing how to bring on another guy that just graduated out or tried to go pro. They're trying to work out how that process is going to look, how the roster management is going to be. They're weighing their options. There's a great chance that our roster is not even complete right now, and we're going into fall camp. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. It's all crazy, man. I think one thing that I really, really respect about Josh Heupel is even when we play by the rules, and I feel like NCAA kind of uses that against us, it's like, oh, you're admitting default. Okay, we're throwing the absolute bus at you. We've been able to work it out, and we've not allowed that to be an excuse on any of our our records, anything like that. Like that first year that he came in, we went 7-6. Arguably could have went 8-9 wins, and that we beat Ole Miss, we beat Purdue, whatever. But overall, man, I'm just hang on. I'm just proud of the way Josh Heupel handles these situations in such a mature manner. And sorry, I had a pop-up come up. And doesn't let that be the main thing. He said his piece. He got it out the way, and then said, "Hey, let's go play some ball."
Yeah, absolutely, man. And kind of moving on from this situation because we pretty much talked it to death at this point. Another question that he was asked, what is your message to the quarterbacks as they head into fall camp and compete for the starting job? His quote, "We're starting training camp. Nobody's going to earn it or lose it on day one. So, we don't want to see a guy make the same mistake twice, be a different player than they were when they finished spring ball, and command and control of what you're doing offensively. Basically just go out there, show that you've improved from that spring ball, do your job, see the fundamentals, all that good stuff. Once you see the reps going on, once you see if a guy is taking that through the opening practices, the opening scrimmage and all that, there's your guy. But basically, it's all on the table. go out there and earn it here in fall practice.
Well, they got to show me in the first week. They got to show me that they learned from the film study. Because I can promise you one thing they've been doing is mental reps over the summer, learning this offense on a more deeper level, whatever they got to do. That they've got the knowledge. They got to go and put it out there on the field now. They can't be messing up play, like, as far as call outs, reading the defensive line. Because, the one thing for the quarterback, and I think this is why it's so hard for a true freshman or a redshirt freshman kind of just pick it up and go, is not only do they have to know what their 11's doing on their field, on any given play, they also got to know and read what the other 11 are doing. They got to know what all 21 other players are doing on the field when they're in command of that offense. And so what they got to do is they got to pick that up. I know they've been watching film. Can they take that, put it on the practice field? And like you said, Josh Heupel says this all the time, but don't make the same mistake twice. But I need to see if they can take what they've learned in film, go apply it on the field. But I understand they're young, but I think this is why it's also super important to also start developing the vocal leadership skills of one like a Dylan Sampson. We've got to have that on this team. And I think Deshaun Bishop's working his way into being that, but I also know Deshaun Bishop is a very reserved, polite young man, faithful Christian man. I mean, I know you've seen what he did at the media days. So powerful in his message. But we need to have vocal leaders in this offense, and I would love to see the leader of the offense, a quarterback, even though they're young, just assert themselves as being that vocal leader, not only knowing what they need to do, but helping others find out what they need. And they're going to have plenty of help, and that's what I love about them going into this situation is the offensive line should be able to help the quarterback. So if the quarterback can step in and then help anybody else and show them, okay, they mean business. Like I understand they're a freshman on the paper, but they're acting like a junior. They're acting like a senior. They're taking a hold to this offense, and that's what I would love to see. But I think it's pretty obvious we're not gonna know a starter probably till second scrimmage. So maybe 2 weeks before the game we'll get an answer. But until then, who knows? Go play some ball.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. I mean, having a quarterback as one of your offensive, your leaders as far as that vocal leader and stuff, that's very important. And you might have some people on the outside or maybe they don't know sports as well say, well, why would the freshman need to be the vocal leader? You've got this guy that he's been here 4 years. Shouldn't this guy be the vocal leader? And to a point, yes.
He can be.
But also, yes, he can be. But also, if your quarterback, who is the leader of this offense, he's the conductor, he's the captain, he's the one making everything happen. If he's not a vocal leader, then that tells me that, he doesn't have the trust, he doesn't have the faith in himself to, lead that offense the way he needs to. You want a guy that's going to be that vocal leader, because if he's vocal, if he's putting himself out there, then the team is going to follow him. If he's not a guy that's going to put himself out there, they're probably not going to trust him all that much. And I'm not taking a shot at Nico here, but I felt we saw some of that with Nico because he wasn't that vocal leader at all. A guy like Hendon Hooker and even Joe Milton, they were vocal leaders. Hendon more so than Joe.
Yep.
But you saw what they did. You saw how the team rallied behind them. And Nico just wasn't that guy as far as a vocal leader. Now, he had talent on the field, but you could see that there was things that he was held back. And whether it be confidence, whether it be, maybe the team not fully trusting him, we don't know. But you could tell that he just didn't command that offense the way that a guy like Hendon Hooker did. And that's what you're going to have from one of these guys, no matter if they're a freshman or if they're a fifth-year senior going into it.
Yeah, and I mean, a leader, being a leader on a team, something you got to develop and establish those relationships and whatnot. Because just being a leader, I think a lot of people kind of think that just means they're bossing everybody else around. And to that, I say you've never been on a team before. A leader is about taking accountability, taking ownership of the mistakes, and also having the knowledge, the IQ of the game to be able to help others in their situation. If they do mess up, hey, man, tell them why they messed up and how to help them or take that. Whatever. But it's also about, like in the media, off the field, it's about what you say to the press in certain situations and how you got to show your guys that you have their back, too. Like, it's one of those things they're going to have to develop. And I get that. And that's probably not something they're going to have in the very first fall practice. But that's something that, like I'm saying, that they've got to develop that. And I think that's going to help them establish who the starting quarterback is going to be. But, hey, enough of the offensive speak and enough about Heupel. I kind of want to pivot here. Jim Knowles also took the stand. So let's talk a little bit about defense. I watched a little bit about what Jim Knowles, man, the personality, man. I definitely laid back kind of guy. I feel like he's kind of a comedian. In a way, I feel like he kind of reminds me of Rick Barnes, but I feel like he might be even a little bit less fiery, at least on the podium, than Rick Barnes. But tell me, man, what excites you about this defense and what he was saying?
Man, the confidence that he has got in his defense. He's very confident. He knows what he's got in this room. He's still got question marks, obviously. I mean, he was asked the question during the press conference, how do you feel about how this team is going to get after the quarterback, how they're going to rush the passer and all that stuff? And he said, we'll see, but I've got confidence in my room and what we've built in this room as a staff, as a team, all this stuff. He's super confident. And obviously he said what everybody else, including us, has said all off season. The linebacker room is obviously the deepest, most talented room. I mean, he admitted that at the press conference, but he said the safety room is a question mark, not because of the talent or who is in that room, but because you don't know who's going to step up. I mean, there's guys in that room that can go out there and be an All-American this year, and we just won't know until they hit the field.
That's coach speak because he wants everybody to focus on this. We're going to be fine at the safety position. I fully believe that. I think we're actually going to – our back seven, and I've said this since, like, the spring, man. I'm so excited about them. I think they're going to ball out. He said something to me that kind of – the first time, like, the hair on the back of my neck kind of stood up is there was a female reporter that asked the question, kind of something along the lines of, like, hey, with the amount of transfers you were able to bring in, with the coaching staff you were able to bring in, do you think that kind of helps your expectations or your objectives of the season? And Jim Knowles fired back, and he's like, well, it doesn't. And I was like, oh, where's he going with this? And he's like, well,
yes.
He said, our job's to stop the other team, regardless.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He's like, no. He said, no excuses. We keep it from scoring. And
that's
I
one
was
of those
just like,
comments that, as a fan, when you hear that, you're like, let me suit up on this defense.
That was me, bro. I was in the driver's seat driving my truck, and I just immediately like tightened the seatbelt, like locking it down. You know what I'm saying? Like I was putting it up. Like, come on now, coach, talk to me. Like I don't know, man. I got fired up when he said that because that shows me that. I mean, he's saying what he's got to say. Don't get me wrong, but I love that confidence that you were talking about. I think Jim Knowles, he's already putting the expectation on himself to go ahead and be the best he can be in year one. No, that was probably my favorite answer of the day from Jim Knowles.
Yeah, but ultimately, I mean, he said and did all the right things just like he needed to. A lot of it was coach speak, but you could tell he's confident in his room, man.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Halzle, I didn't get to hear all of his comments, but Joey Halzle, I mean, I feel like he's pretty confident in his room too. I feel like this entire coaching staff, they know what they have. And everyone's talking about the quarterback position, but they know what they have on this team. And they're not boasting about it, but they're confident. You can tell that from the entire coaching staff.
Well, in Halsey's case, I mean, you talk about the guys that they have on the offensive side of the ball now. And they finally, like, you know how we always talk about how a coach needs 4 or 5 years to get their players in the system? Mm-hmm. They've got their players. I mean, half the offensive line was recruited out of high school. The tight end, Ethan Davis, recruited out of high school. All 3 of your receivers, potentially. No, it's not even potentially. Even I would say the top 4 string of your wide receiver, because Radarius Jackson, TK Keys, and I'm missing one, Travis Smith Jr. So your top 5 wide receivers, realistically, are all recruited out of high school. Deshaun Bishop, recruited out of high school. Both your quarterbacks are out. I'm telling you, man, they have literally gotten their guys in this system, and this offense is about to reflect that. Mm-hmm. I think he's low-key excited about what this is going to be because I'm telling you, I know in this new day and age and transfer portal, and trust me, we have utilized it. I'm not trying to get away from that. But we are 80 to 90%, Tennessee recruited through and through type kids on this offense, and I can't wait to see them go to work together. It's going to be fun, and I think Halsey's got exactly what he wants in this situation. He's got talented, experienced wide receivers. He's got the best back potentially in the league. And I'm going to go ahead and hot shot. Like, we've got probably one of the best tight ends in the league as well. He's just not been able to hit his potential.
Maybe the country.
I agree with that. He's just got to stay healthy. Ethan Davis has shown me so many flashes of greatness. He's just got to stay healthy. But Deshaun Brain right behind him, though. I mean, like, we have a good 1-2 punch, and in this offense, we're running 2 tight ends quite often. So, no, I just love it, man. I think they're in the best position they can be on the offense. We're making a ton of changes on defense. It's exactly what you want. I just need to know the only other phase of the game that we've not really talked about, and we've had a transfer kicker come in, but I need to know how's the special teams going to look, because we were pretty bad last year. After Boo Carter, that whole situation, we couldn't even field a freaking punt without fumbling it. And the kickoff in the bowl game, we fumbled it, but we ended up taking it back, and it was a crazy play. But, like, who's going to lead, or, who's going to step up, be that return man, and really be electric in the return team and special teams and whatnot? Because that's really the third question there, and it'd be nice to all 3 phases click. So
yeah, absolutely. Well.